And once again, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jeannie Kim from Santiago Canyon College. And Jeannie, I'm going to go ahead and read your bio.
Yes.
Now, what time for the second time? So, Jeannie G. Kim, PhD, became president of Santiago Canyon College in January 2023. A champion of socioeconomic mobility through higher education, Dr. Kim is committed to creating equitable systems by dismantling barriers for historically underserved students to thrive intellectually, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Dr. Kim previously served as Interim Vice Chancellor of Educational Services and Strategic Planning and Associate Vice Chancellor of Grants and Economic Development at Riverside Community College District, among other administrative roles during her nearly 35-year in higher education. Her leadership experience spans private and public institutions, including UC, CSU, and community colleges. In December 2023, Dr. Kim was named one of the 125 most influential people in Orange County by the Orange County Register. She has a proven track record in succession planning, establishing organizational infrastructure, facilitating cultural shifts, and developing strategic partnerships, grant writing, and program evaluation. Dr. Kim is a global keynote speaker on higher education, leadership, and innovative practices, having given talks in Russia, Japan, Cambodia, South Korea, and the U.S. Her work has influenced state and federal educational policies across all levels. She has advised the Stanford Research Institute's think tank, Innovation for Jobs, EAB Student Success Platform, and GainX Global Inc. Dr. Kim has served on many national boards, including as co-president of the Alliance of Hispanic Serving Educators, AHSIE, and was reelected to her final 3-year term on the AHSIE Council. As an immigrant to the U.S. and the first in her extended family to earn a doctoral degree, Dr. Kim received her PhD in Higher Education Policy, Evaluation, and Reform from Claremont Graduate University, her master's from Cal State University Fullerton, and her bachelor's from the University of California, Los Angeles.
Don't make that
Oh,
mistake.
Good
UCLA versus USC.
UCLA!
Love USC, but more UCLA.
University of California, Los Angeles. Just making things up.
I know, that's okay. It's fun.
And with that, welcome again.
Thank you.
I know you are so busy. Your schedule, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you for making time for us this morning. I know you have a hard stop, so we will get you out by your hard stop, which I know is 9 a.m., so we'll get you out. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's very good to be here with all of you here in person and on Facebook Live.
Thank you. Well, before we kind of dive into any of the questions, I know there are so many things about Santiago Canyon College. We could probably talk about it all day. I know you and I had breakfast. That was now several months ago, and I felt like we were just like talking, and I'm like, we've got to come to Eggs and Issues. But first, congratulations. I know your youngest graduated from Santa Cruz, correct?
That's right.
But one of the cool things about that, I think was it 3 years?
Yep.
And why was that?
Because she did dual enrollment at Santiago Canyon College. So we used to live in Anaheim Hills. And so all of my kids actually graduated from Orange Unified School District. And so my youngest was able to do concurrent enrollment and dual enrollment. And as a result of that, she cut her time at UC Santa Cruz to just 3 years and 3 months, basically, so 1 quarter. And she got to do a summer abroad in Barcelona, Spain. And so, or not summer, semester abroad. And so I can't talk about the value of dual enrollment and the opportunities that Santiago Canyon College actually provides. It's a family affair for me. My nephew graduated from Santiago Canyon College as well in chemistry, and he transferred successfully to UCLA, graduated from UCLA after 2 years, and is now waiting on medical schools. My other nephew is currently there right now and participating in our world-renowned, or actually nationally acclaimed forensics program. And he's a communications major and also planning on transferring to UCLA. We're becoming very much a Bruin family in a lot of respects.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's a family affair. I love Santiago Canyon College, not just because I get to work there, but because it really does provide the kind of quality education that I think our community deserves and definitely has.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the rankings. I know there are about 116 community colleges in the state. Where do you guys fall in that?
So we are in the top 10. So we are number 8, actually, in all of the rankings across the state, and there's actually 118 if we also count the community, the continuing education schools. Okay. And so ranking top 8 in the state consistently. The rankings, depending on which one you look at, will be number 7 or number 8. And so I think that, again, the quality speaks for itself. The other thing is that we are top 10 in the country for supporting veterans and military families. And that is a top 10 in the entire nation of 6,000 higher ed institutions. And so you all should be super proud to have an institution like Santiago Canyon College in your backyard where your children, your community members, your friends can actually send their students. And it's free, right? So for students that are going to college for the very first time, it's 100% free for 2 years. You get your associate's degree. And then you're able to transfer all of those credits directly to any UC, any CSU, and majority of the private institutions, including Chapman. And so the dollar value, you can begin to calculate how valuable this can be.
And that's really exciting. I know that in Orange especially, we have such a heart for veterans here. So it's really important. We love how much veterans are involved in everything, and really a lot of the partnerships that the chamber has and the different organizations all tie into veterans. Yeah. So that's amazing that we have that here. So thank you so much.
I also want to say that on the veterans front, that we have veterans that come from all over Southern California, specifically to Santiago Canyon College because of the kind of support that we have. Right. Not, again, just because of the college, but again, our program is strong because of the community support, as you mentioned. So the Community Foundation of Orange's support for the veterans, for all of the City of Orange's support for our veterans and the military families is really impressive. And it's something that I think that we have that is something that we should be very proud about. And we are actually, Santiago Canyon College is one of the only institutions that are able to go into the military bases and provide information on the programs that we offer. There are very few that are allowed to actually go onto the bases when the military active duty are actually transitioning. Right. And so, but we have been invited to do that because of the quality of our programs, particularly in water science and water technology and water operations, and then also because of our apprenticeship programs. And I don't know if you all know this, but we are either the first or the second, depending on the year, largest apprenticeship program in the entire state. So we have 5,500 apprentices, and we work with all of the trade unions in the building trades, construction, as well as in electrician, geological surveying, etc. And we're about to get our first bachelor's degree in digital infrastructure and location sciences, a fancy way of saying geological surveying. But it's going to be pretty amazing. But if you can imagine getting a degree for less than $10,000 in a field that's going to hire you at $100,000 to $120,000 immediately upon graduation, it's a deal.
That's a good segue into workforce development. I know your workforce development at Santiago Canyon College has so many facets. I know here at the Chamber, we've worked with, is it Enrique?
Yeah.
On some of the retail programs, which has been great, retail and restaurant, but there are just so many pieces. So maybe we can start to dive into those, starting with apprenticeship, because I know you guys, like you said, have the largest in the state really for that. And I know that right now you guys are diving into other aspects, because traditionally it's been more of like the construction, the plumbing, electricians. What can we look forward to as far as apprenticeships across the board that would be more of interest to the business community as a whole?
Yeah, so we're actually looking at all different kinds of apprenticeships. So from the non-traditional, we have our very first non-traditional apprenticeship program, which is actually in child care and child development. And it's one of the first in the state. And the reason why we have that is because childcare is important. People and families cannot actually work if you don't actually have somebody to take care of your children that you can trust, right? And so we developed that program, and it's actually doing super well. And it's in partnership with our local childcare centers. And we're fortunate because at the college, at both Santa Ana College and at Santiago, we have our own childcare facilities. And so that provides opportunity for the community to be able to access, as well as for our students and our faculty and staff members as well. I think the other areas that we're super keen on developing is in the medical arenas. And so the medical operations here in the city of Orange, we are the hub. We are the hub for all medical occupations right now because we've got so many hospitals with Hoag, with Providence, with Chalk, Grady, all of the different institutions, and even with the City of Hope, right? And so those buildings need people to operate. And those, the medical professions, both patient-facing as well as the back end, medical billing and operations, all of those things require humans, right? And these are fields that are not going to ever go away. And so what we're trying to do is to double down on how we can actually educate our community and become the hub for educating medical occupations, basically professions. And so that's where we're going to be developing a lot of professional development opportunities for people to be able to transition, not just as starting out in high school and in college, but people that may want to have a job transfer between at 20, 30, 40, 50 years of age. We have programs that are completely 100% free. And that's not if you went to college or not. There's no condition to it. It's pure workforce development on our continuing education side, and it's 100% free. So if you wanted to do a job change and become a medical assistant, if you wanted to go into an LVN program, it's free. Did you know that LVN programs can cost over $150,000 to actually graduate from?
Yeah, they do.
But we're doing it for free. So this is the value, again, of what we're trying to do to be able to support our community, and especially in terms of the workforce that needs to be developed here in Orange, but also for all of Orange County.
Right. Okay, that's really exciting. I know another part of that is with the water industry.
Yes.
From what I've read, it seems like there is a lack of people really going into that industry or being able to grow from where they are into like a management. So let's talk about that, because I know one of the things, even with the restaurant and retail, is that oftentimes people start out and they start out as, you know, a server, a barista, somebody working behind a cash register, but then where do they go from there?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how those programs are helping people in that type of arena.
So I think that, again, we have so many different transition opportunities because there aren't really any prerequisites for some of these kinds of programs, right? And then also what we're doing is providing credit for prior learning. So if you have experience, so somebody just told me that Benji said that he's a medic, right? And he had that experience in the Army. Well, coming out, or in the military, and so coming out of the military, they're able to actually get credit for the prior learning and the experience that they've received in that training. And then we provide the course credit to them so that they don't have to retake any of the classes. We're able to do that in terms of the management areas for the water industry, for all of the utilities industries as well. Mm-hmm. So we're building those programs in partnership with so the Molten Niguel Water District in particular. Jun Kim Lopez is a leader in the state and the nation in relation to all of the water development and water data and water science in general. Mm-hmm. And so her team is actually going to be the faculty for this water science management program and water utilities management program. As all of you know, when we turn on the faucet, we expect it to just go, right? And we expect it to be clear and clean and usable. We don't think about where it's actually coming from. But there's an entire utilities industry, same for electricity, for all of those different pieces. And these trades are what keep our cities and our homes and our businesses operating. We don't have enough workers in that space right now. And they're retiring at a faster rate than we're able to actually replenish that workforce. And that's the reason why we're so focused at Santiago Canyon College on developing that workforce, because it is a basic need for humans to actually survive, and we need to continue to be able to develop that. So in those areas, we have people that are coming in from San Diego, from Inland Empire, et cetera. They're driving hour and a half, 2 hours every day to come to our water science program. That's how good it is. We're one of the best programs in the state, if not the best, definitely the best here in Southern California. And so, and those water operators have the opportunity to be able to go up as 1, 2, 3, 4 level technicians. But after that, they had a glass ceiling because oftentimes they didn't have degrees.
Right.
They had technology and technician skill sets, but they didn't necessarily have the degrees that would get them into the management positions. So you'd have bachelor's degreed people that would sort of slide into these management positions to supervise these individuals. Well, you read in my bio, I'm very much in tune with socioeconomic development
Right.
and making sure that we have those change opportunities.
Right.
And so I wanted to be able to make sure that individuals that are in these technician level jobs have the opportunity to be able to go up, to become the managers, to become the supervisors. There's no reason why they couldn't. And especially since the water and utilities industries in particular don't require bachelor's degrees, but they always select them.
Yes.
And so what we wanted to do was to show that these individuals that have been in service with these organizations for long periods of time have the talent, have the skill sets. They just need a little bit more assistance in terms of understanding the policies, the politics, and to be able to continue to move forward in the supervision and the organizational management. And so we're working on developing those kinds of pathways and actually working on a bachelor's degree for that very purpose.
Exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's good to see it coming to fruition as well. I know you and I talked about that. It seems like it was a long time ago, but it's really exciting.
Just a year.
I know, just a year. How many things you guys have accomplished in just that time period. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I have a couple more questions about that, but does anybody else have any questions? I know a lot of you own businesses, you have kids and families in the community. Is there any questions about this or anything else so far for Dr. Ken?
Yes. Advisory council to find out what you actually need so you can teach the students the right thing.
So we have that within our career and business education areas, and so they do have some of the councils. I will say, though, that they're not as robust as I would like to see them. And so this year, we're actually establishing numerous presidential level advisory councils. And so my intent is actually to get additional feedback. And so as we continue to develop the various different curricular ideas, we're going to continue to go out to the communities and to get a better understanding of what the needs actually are, what the future training opportunities are, the influence of artificial intelligence and how that will play within the context of the industries, because it's going to be very specific. And so we want to be able to get that input and directly from the business owners themselves. The other thing that I want to make mention of is that all of you, if you're business owners or if you have companies or are part of companies, you have professional development. You have professional development opportunities for your employees as well as for yourself. Well, guess what? We can do all of that for free. Meaning you don't have to pay the person to teach you. You don't have to hire a trainer. We can hire that trainer and then turn around and offer those courses from the same trainer, same workshops for free to your companies, to your businesses, to your organization. And it's for both nonprofits as well as for for-profits. There is no limitation on that.
And how can somebody take advantage of that? I guess that's the main question. How do we do
Contact
it?
me.
Do the school districts offer any internship programs or liaison positions on the campuses that we talk to?
Yes, so we are redeveloping our internship program right now. And so we actually just finished our very first City of Orange internship program. It was under the auspices of Tom Casella and John Gillenhammer, who actually helped put that program together. And so our students actually went in and served in police and public works and other areas within the city on that internship opportunity. We're very much looking forward to having that, the internship experiences for our students, because that work experience is golden, right? And we've been working with Orange Unified School District in order to be able to continue to move that forward as well, because it's so important for the students to have that experience starting in that high school level, and the pre-apprenticeships, et cetera, will also go in that direction.
That's really exciting. And just along some of those same lines, I saw that you have the guaranteed transfer, and then also was it a
reverse transfer?
Let's talk about the reverse transfer first, because that's intriguing. I wasn't quite sure what it was, and I tried to figure it out. But let's tell everybody about the reverse transfer and how that's guaranteed and things like that.
So I don't know if you all know this, but I worked at Cal State Fullerton for over 20 years. So I've been in Orange County for a really long time. And so at Cal State Fullerton, I got to know everybody, and I had a lot of really great relationships. So as soon as I became president here, I actually reached out to all of my colleagues, to the president and also to the provost and the VPs there. And we started crafting an idea. And there are two parts to this idea. So you hear about all of these, the tags, so the guaranteed transfer programs that go to the UCs, the guaranteed transfer programs that we typically have with the Cal States, et cetera. In this particular case, we're taking it a few steps further. One, the students that are going to be going from Santiago to Cal State Fullerton, it is an absolute guarantee. You start at Santiago and you get your 2.8 GPA, I believe, as a freshman, sophomore, finish your courses for the degree program that you want, and you have a spot guaranteed at Cal State Fullerton, period. And that's for every major with the exception of nursing and the performing arts. And the performing arts is because you have to show a portfolio and audition and that kind of stuff. But everything else, it's a straight guarantee, absolute. The second part of that is that we're going to actually be offering 300 and 400 level classes that are taught by Cal State Fullerton faculty members at Santiago Canyon College. That means that the students don't necessarily have to deal with transportation, the parking, all the other issues that they might have to deal with if they're going physically to Cal State Fullerton. The third piece of it is we're going to have a shuttle that goes back and forth from Santiago to Cal State Fullerton. And the students are going to have dual IDs, which means that they'll be able to use the facilities at Cal State Fullerton as if they are a Cal State Fullerton student starting from the time that they're a freshman at Santiago Canyon College. Then the reverse transfer aspect is Cal State Fullerton, you have a lot of freshmen that went into Cal State Fullerton to all of our four-year institutions, but not everybody makes it. They have issues, they may have problems with financial situations, home, whatever the situation might be. For whatever reason, they end up dropping out or are academically disqualified. Well, we are actually in partnership with Cal State Fullerton, reaching out to the thousands of students that find themselves in that boat over the last 10 years, and we're giving them a chance at invigorating their educational journey. And so on June 14th, we actually had the very first orientation around this. 60 people showed up to that orientation at 6 p.m. on a Friday in summer to be able to reinvigorate and restart their educational journey back into a bachelor's degree program. The way the reverse transfer works is that they will start with us at Santiago Canyon College. And after 1 year and a 2.5 GPA, they're guaranteed straight back in to Cal State Fullerton, and then they'll be able to complete their entire degree program. And that's regardless of major, and it will also provide them with the opportunities that I talked about for all of our regular freshmen as well.
That's exciting. That is very exciting because, like you said, there's so many students that first year. You know, I do a lot of things with Chapman. And so there's that first year is really tough for a lot of people, you know, going straight into a UC from high school. And you and I had privately talked about how difficult it has been for many of the high school students transitioning who've gone through the pandemic and just what that has looked like for them in college and then, you know, and then heading into college. So that is amazing. And to have 60 students there on a Friday.
Yeah. And I think that that program is going to be, it's one of the first in the country, actually. And it's something that the UCs have been talking about and the Cal States have been talking about, but not anybody, you know, nobody's actually implemented it.
Right.
And we are now in implementation mode. And so we're super excited about this opportunity. And I think it's going to do a lot for Orange County in general because these students are, they're coming back after having been in the workforce. They're coming back because they really value education and they know what a golden opportunity this is, right? And we're able to provide them with the financial supports, the academic supports, so that we can guarantee their success. So at Santiago Canyon College, we talk about, you know, our motto is what happens here matters. Students come from all over Southern California because they know what happens matters at Santiago Canyon College. We take care of them. Everybody comes to our campus, and when you come to our campus, and I don't know if you've been there recently, but it's like Disneyland. It's immaculate. Our custodial staff, our horticulturalists, they are amazing in terms of how they upkeep our campus, and it feels like a private college. And so it's a private college experience on a public college cost. Right. Which is one of the things that, again, it's a jewel for this city and for this county. And I can't say how wonderful our academics are. Our faculty are amazing. We are excellent in the STEM arenas in particular. We do a community science night every year, and some of you may have participated in that. We actually started doing trunk or treat because of Patty, and we get lots of people, thousands of people that come in to be able to sort of experience. And we use those opportunities to be able to get folks acclimated to where we are,
Right.
and then to be able to showcase how beautiful the campus is, and then sort of talk to them about all the various different academic opportunities and what we can do for them, both on the continuing education workforce development side, as well as the traditional associate's degree and transfer program side.
I know, it's gorgeous. I know we hosted our candidates forum there this past year, so it was beautiful and such a gorgeous campus. So hopefully we'll host it there again.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's our first class, maybe.
That works.
Ask Elizabeth. But no, it's a gorgeous campus. Thank you guys for all that you guys are doing in the community. That's amazing. That reverse transfer is truly like way more amazing than I could have even imagined. So I was like, oh, maybe they get. I was thinking maybe you get to go back. Like, so if you started, you get to go back. But that's truly groundbreaking, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
amazing.
so the Cal State system as a whole is really looking at this because enrollment is an issue right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're all seeing the fact that enrollment is declining, and it's because there aren't as many births, quite frankly, right? And so as a result, you don't have as many elementary school kids that are coming through, and so the traditional high school, college age student is actually disappearing. And there's going to be a significant decline, and the decline looks like this. It's very extreme. And so what we're trying to do is to figure out where does the education really need to take place in order for all of the businesses and the economic development to continue.
Right.
Because the economic engine cannot stop, right? And so we need to make sure that we are actually focused in on how we actually develop then the populations that want the different kinds of educational opportunities as various different fields may disappear or change as a result of artificial intelligence and the advent of how that's being utilized, as well as the opportunities for new areas. So I talked a little bit about the medical arenas. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was literally dying on Mother's Day of 2022 in the hospital at Hoag because I was allergic, rarely allergic to the Taxol, the chemotherapy. I can never get that chemotherapy again. And the Taxol is what actually stops the metastasizing of cancer. I'm BRCA2 positive as well, which means that my body naturally makes cancer. And so there isn't necessarily hope for me if I were to think about just the traditional aspects of medicine in that field. But precision medicine, the advent of how we're able to utilize the data, to be able to utilize artificial intelligence, to get all of the worldwide data sources to create genetic therapies. They're actually launching that right now in Europe. Yeah. And so they're doing that right now. And so we want to be able to educate students, the next workforce, to be able to do that work. They're going to require technicians, surveyors, essayists in terms of the genetic, the genetic assaying, it's a ASSAY, and to be able to continue to be able to educate again for those kinds of new fields that are up and coming. And so again, Santiago Canyon College, we're positioning ourselves to be able to be that support and that economic engine for the community, for the jobs of the future that are not going to go away.
Right.
And so that's really the key.
That's amazing. Any questions for Dr. Kim? Any more questions in the back?
Kind of like a statement or a question. You just have to decline in people going on to college, and then my degree was actually in my first degree was in early education, and I studied on brain development. And do you think that we need to be more focused on our early education system because it would help kids in school? Because I really believe without the proper early education, there's a mental dropout out of school.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been proven over and over again, right? And so the universal preschool was a legislation that had gone through at one point in time. I have actually a really long history in child development and those kinds of programs. And I think that the 0 to 5 is really key. And absolutely, we need to be doing more in that. Orange County actually used to have a very robust 0 to 5 program. And when the state was actually funding some of that kind of work, and the hospitals and agencies, the nonprofits in particular, were working with the lower socioeconomic areas because they were not necessarily receiving the kind of stimulation and the kind of information that they needed in order for those children to continue to move forward. I think that work 20 years ago has helped tremendously now. And so it's not an issue of not wanting to go to college necessarily. We have to continue to do that work on the early childhood education arenas. But it's not about not wanting to go to college. Students are going to college. Our early college program, actually, which just graduated, I believe this year, 22 students, because they started during the pandemic in 2020. And so, but they still graduated, and 22 of them got their associate's degree before they got their high school diploma. So, and these are students that they are first generation. They don't have other people in their families that have the college education. They don't have the socioeconomic supports that typically exist, but they know the value of higher education. Our Upward Bound Math and Science program, all high school students, again, in Orange Unified. The families, we had over 150 family members and students that participated in our Upward Bound Math and Science program. And because we also work with the families for the reason that you stated, right, from the very beginning. So siblings come into the program. We're working with them all the way through the process. And what we're seeing is that one of the parents actually said, I didn't get the opportunity to pursue higher education because higher education or education in general was not something that my dad said a girl could do. And she said, but my 2 daughters are living proof that they can. And they were excelling in the math and science program and are continuing to move forward and into that arena. We've got NASA scientist hopefuls. We've got, students that are going into the medicine and medical arenas. So yes, early childhood development really makes a big difference. We have to continue to do that, which is why we have that apprenticeship program and why we focus on that. We actually have a very, very robust child development program at Santiago Canyon College. But we also want to make sure that we're helping them at every step of the way, every stage. And again, making college super affordable and something that everybody and anybody can do. And that's the thing. We enroll 100%. There are no barriers with us. And so that's the message that I want to just keep getting across again and again. And it's 100% at a college that is ranked in the top 5% in the nation and in the top 10 in this state. And I can keep talking about Santiago.
We could talk about it like all day.
I could.
I know you have a hard stop. So unless there's any more questions.
Oh, there was one more right
One
there.
more question. Oh, yes, Rachel.
Dr. Kim, thank you. It's so fascinating to learn more about you in the college. Here at the Chamber, we offer the Leadership Orange program, which Martinez has so graciously run for us. One of those days is focused on education, and at least the class I participated in, we had a great time visiting your campus. We learned a little bit about how Santiago Canyon College can write curriculum for perhaps a business in the community that needs support in job training and development.
Yep.
How you can do that kind of specific curriculum work with your professionals to help local businesses.
That's right.
Just a little bit more about that specific creation of curriculum for business in the community.
Sure. So on our non-credit or continuing education side, we're able to turn around curriculum and courses really quickly. So sometime within like 2 to 3 months. But if there is an area or a field that we want to have further development in, we're able to write that curriculum and then deliver it specifically for those businesses. And we can work in partnership with the businesses in order to develop exactly what you want as the learning outcomes for those specific classes. And the best aspect of this is that the people taking those classes get continuing education units, right? And continuing education credits. And again, it's 100% for free. So you get really well-trained and also professionally developed individuals based on the criteria that your business is setting up, right? That your business is wanting. And we're able to continue to be a part of the economic engine that helps to drive making the city the best that it can possibly be, right? And so it's a win-win for everybody. And there are actually other programs, and we'll be getting more into this as the year goes by. But I'm also looking at opportunities to be able to get funding for businesses to be able to increase the pay of their employees as they go through these programs. And so there are state level programs, and the employment training program is one of them. And it's a state level ETP program. And that allows businesses to be able to train all of their workers. So if you've got individuals that have or don't have high school degrees, for example, we can actually work together to get one of these ETP training grants and to be able to get them that degree, but also the other additional workforce development training that they may need based on what industry you are and the curriculum that you want created as a part of that entire process.
So to take advantage of that really quickly, how would somebody reach out? Would they just reach out to the college directly, or is there a particular department that they reach out to?
Contact me right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now these are all things that we're in development on, and so while and because of my background in economic development, et cetera, I have a little bit more intel in relation to all of this, and so we're starting to develop the teams. We have a great dual enrollment program, but until today, we have not had anybody that was 100% dedicated to dual enrollment. So we just hired our very first associate dean for educational partnerships, and she's going to be absolutely fantastic. Her name is Basti, and so. But we're in development on all of those fronts in terms of the personnel, and so I don't necessarily have a point person just yet.
All right, we'll contact you.
Yeah.
Pat, I see you have a question.
Just quick, I got to thank you. Thank you for all you're doing for our community and for Orange County. It's very impressive. But one of the things I didn't hear, and did touch on it, I apologize, how much you help your students where you have that store and any of us that are cleaning our closets.
Oh, let's talk about that.
We all do this, that if we donate to them, they actually allocate food and clothing. They're beautiful little shopping.
Yeah.
Right here on campus.
So it's called Hawk's Nest, and thank you, Pat, for bringing that up. It's actually an amazing facility. We have 3 rooms that are dedicated, and that were completely converted. But the idea is to not make students feel bad that they don't have what they need, right? And so the closet provides work clothes and shoes, etc. And Pat has generously donated to that often. But it's an opportunity for people to be able to donate work level clothes, etc., shoes and materials, so that the students can go in and shop and have that shopping experience without having to pay for anything. So they just are able to walk out.
Yeah.
We also have a grocery store.
Okay.
So the grocery store is set up like any grocery store. It's got aisles, refrigeration, etc. All of the food there is free. And students are able to walk in and pick up whatever it is that they need and then be able to walk out. What we want to do is preserve their dignity. We don't want them to feel like they have to have these handouts, but it's a place that they can go to if they need to. And we have a lot of community members that actually also utilize those facilities. Because we're a public institution, we make it open to everybody, but we do have that primarily for our students. And it's and we also tie in with our state level benefits. So our students also have the opportunity to apply for SNAP and for other resources so that they're able to get the support that they need to continue with their education. So we are 100% full service in every way, in every shape. And what we're trying to do is actually, it's a little bit premature, but I've got dreams of a residential facility on our campus as well. And so I'm hoping that we'll be able to see that also come to fruition, because housing's expensive. And, you know, people want to be able to do what they can, but if they have to work and put food on the table for themselves and for their families and also get that education, sometimes those two things just don't work. And so what we have to do is to be able to meet people where they're at, and that means housing in Orange County. And so we are really seriously looking at that and looking at that as a P3 venture We're not trying to do it on our own, but we're going to partner with businesses and with local businesses as well as the national conglomerates in order to be able to bring that to fruition, hopefully in the next 5 years.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you, Pat. I did not know about that, so thank you for mentioning that. And people can donate, so that's clothes. Can they donate also food items, or is that?
Oh,
more?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah. And we actually just started a partnership with Goodwill. And so Goodwill is actually on our facility now at the college, and they have a donation center. So we're able to get donations through them as well. So.
Okay. Well, we're at 9, so I'm going to go ahead and go through some announcements. But before I do that, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So 30 seconds of announcements. So we have a couple things coming up, actually quite a few things, but it's going to be quick. So we have our chamber mixer this week at Sri Sai Krish Institute. Did I get that right? That's going to be on Thursday. We have our B&G, which are our business networking group. That's on the first and third Wednesday. So the next meeting is next week at Zito's Pizza. That's a lunch meeting. We have a new member orientation. If you are new, definitely get to this. You want to find out how to be involved in all the things amazing for Orange Chamber. That's going to be on the 9th. We have a ribbon cutting at the Skin Co. on the 11th. Our next Eggs and Issues will be back here with our incoming chair, Mr. Rick Martinez, sitting right over here. And then our most fun thing of the summer is going to be our gala and installation. That is going to be on July 18th. If you have not purchased a ticket, you must. It is going to be so much fun. So see Elizabeth, see Connie, see Elisa, see Rick. Talk to me if you like to. Get a ticket. You've got to come. Make sure and follow us on social media. We're on the web. We're everywhere. So a special thank you to Sean, Orange Cafe Bistro. Thank you so much. Also, our Orange Chamber Chairman Circle sponsors. We couldn't do this without you, our board of directors, our staff, and our members and community. Thank you so much. We will see you next time here at Orange Cafe.
Thank you.
That was fun.